phone to record this. Okay. Because she's running a little bit late, but I'm glad that we're here. And people that have known me for a while, I feel like when you get Brittany, you get Carrie, and vice versa. Like we are both from Oregon natives, and then we're very good friends. Carrie and I have built businesses side by side. We've done a lot of life together. My very best friend.
Crazy,
Like I love,
crazy trips, like
yes, I love how
all
much
this
life we've
stuff.
done together and everything we've been through. And I'm
Hmm.
like, you know what I got out of all this craziness? Carrie. I got Carrie. And then we've done a lot of really cool stuff since.
Jackpot.
Yes. I'm like, boom, worth it.
Do
Um,
you know, I was thinking about that today too, like really the friendship that we have, it's so awesome because it's like it is a true authentic friendship and you guys just don't come along very often. And so when you
no.
have it, like grasp onto it because she can tell me to get my shit together and I'd be like, oh, she's right. And I won't be mad.
Yeah, totally. Well, and how often do we find those people in our life that you're like, this is fun friendship,
Mhm.
but it's more surface level. And or you're like, I don't fully like have that trust built yet because it takes a long time, And it's just, yeah, I'm so thankful for
I
you. But
I am too. It takes a long time or a crazy trip to Canada.
oh my gosh. You guys, Carrie and I are gonna have to do a freaking podcast about the story of us. Because we were like kind of acquaintances, and then we both
We
decided to
didn't
go
really
to this.
know each other, like a
I'm like,
little
did we
bit.
not? Like, because I must have dove in the deep end because I think when I like get to know people, I'm just like, here I am, love me or hate me, we'll figure it out by the end of this. But like, we took a red
We're
eye
like,
to
okay, let's
Canada.
go.
Yes, for Bob Proctor's event that was a week long called The Matrix. And Carrie, you're gonna die. Look what I pulled out, all my personal development binders and stuff. And I have my Matrix stuff from that.
Binder.
Well, not
I
binder,
have
but all the little
the
things.
notebook, all the little things. So I have to tell you, when we moved from Oregon to Florida, a lot of that stuff, I don't know why. I'm like, I'm done. I'm moving on. I'm clearing out. Let's go.
This part of my life is over.
Over. Done.
But
There was a lot of stuff that I kept because it was really interesting, some of the notes I took.
yes, it's cool to see where you
Hmm.
were at a certain time because I have stuff that goes all the way back to 2017, whereas like when I really
Yeah.
started my journey of personal development and getting healthy in my body and my mind and my spirit. And
Hmm.
this is a perfect segue because that's really what we're going to talk about today. And I hope you guys find some value in this because it's a really important topic. And I think Carrie and I have been on the journey, and sometimes it takes a long time and it's a continuous journey of finding like what you're aligned with and living in
Hmm.
alignment and like what does that mean? And I think people think of alignment as this like either like a woo woo spiritual thing, but really what it means is like what are you allowing in your life? What are you choosing? And sometimes what comes along with that is choosing to walk away from people, from work situations, from ideas, relationships, like a lot of stuff that you
A
sometimes
lot
have
of
to
stuff.
prune out of your life so that you
You
can be in
and
alignment.
and it's like past behaviors too. Like
Oh
things that
yeah.
have been ingrained in you that you're like, wait a second, that no longer fits with who
Yeah.
I am now,
Yeah.
which I think sometimes is the hardest.
Yeah. And you guys, Carrie and I met at a time where we were getting our bodies healthy and then growing businesses in the network marketing space. That's
Hmm.
how we met. And I do have to say that if you feel disjointed in your life, look at your physical health first, right? And
Yeah.
like Carrie, that's like some of those habits, right? And like this isn't
Hmm.
going to be a show about that, but I would say that you got to get in alignment with your body
Hmm.
because that runs everything, right? And so if that's not healthy, then everything gets thrown out of whack.
Everything gets, you're tired, you can't, you're not thinking
You're a
right,
bitch.
you're a bitch. Yeah. Well, I was gonna say you have less patience, but we can go
I'm
with
like,
yours
nope,
too.
straight up, you're a bitch. When you don't
Whatever.
your clothes look on you, you're a bitch, okay? Your husband's not getting laid as much.
It's the truth, though. It's like when you don't feel good about yourself, all these other things, it's like a
Hey,
ripple effect.
totally. Yeah, so
Hmm.
that's a really great to start because I
And this
mean,
is a thing
yeah,
too. Can I say something about your physical health? Like people
yes.
think that your physical health means that you lose weight, you get to the optimal weight, and you're done. You guys, it is like this never-ending journey, which really pisses
Totally.
me off to hear that, but it's the truth. And so the sooner we can get in alignment with that, the easier it's going to be.
Well, and
Be
if
like,
it's
I have to
been a
constantly
habit,
make choices.
yes. And I am dying right now because this is a live show. I have two dogs just sitting at my window in my new office,
Oh, hi, Lucky.
staring out the window, growling. So if you hear any random noises, like I don't know what's happening over here.
It's
Um,
either that or a kid at my house, so we're good.
yes. But yeah, it's just like if you have if you've created a habit of yo-yoing or you've been overweight for a really long time,
Mhm.
you cannot just think that you're going to lose the weight and all of a sudden you're going to be a completely different person that keeps it off,
Oh,
right? Deb is
no, right.
joining
Hi,
us.
Deb.
So
Oh,
we'll
good.
bring her
I'm so
into this
glad.
conversation. Yeah, it's just so I think that sometimes we don't give ourselves that like grace to continue the journey.
It's so
Hey,
true. Oh,
Deb.
there she is.
Friends, happy
Hey.
Halloween.
Hello.
I'm like,
You,
what? Excuse my house. We're under construction, and you guys get it.
Oh my gosh, your hair
you
looks
look
really
great.
good.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, it's crazy. All right,
Look hot.
I'm ready to go. This has been a week, huh?
So, Deb, I got to catch you up to speed. So, Carrie and I were just talking about you're gonna jump in the deep end with us, but we were talking about just kind of the journeys that we've been on and getting your life like in alignment. And so,
Hmm.
how sometimes that can be tough because we got to walk away from
Yeah.
a lot of things. And we were just kind of covering um, how I was just encouraging people that like if you feel like you're totally out of sorts, like first look at like what you're doing physically, like with
Mhm.
yourself.
Hmm.
And then what's really cool that I've noticed, and Deb, you can for sure weigh in on this, is once you get that in check, it's really cool what you find that you have the power to shift other things in your life. It gives
Hmm.
you that confidence to
Mhm.
maybe go, that relationship's not serving me. That friendship is really toxic. Like this job is a complete disaster. Just
Right,
Well,
like
and what
right.
things.
all those things, and I think as you start working on you in whatever area it is, what happens is those people who aren't in alignment with that, who don't like that you're doing something to better yourself, they slowly make themselves known so you can
Yeah,
slowly walk away,
totally.
Yeah.
because there is something interesting happen. Like even just talk about health, getting healthy. Like I lost 40 pounds when Brittany and I met. I don't know how much you lost, girl, but a lot, right? Huh?
20.
20. Okay, she lost 20, I lost 40, whatever. And, but it's still a lot of weight. And it was really interesting how much people created resistance around that change in your life. So you can imagine something about your body changing. What if you change other things in your life? Like, for example, our move from Oregon to Florida, the resistance we experienced from people who didn't understand why we would leave was enormous. It was enormous. But
Yeah,
we knew in our heart of hearts that it
It
was
was the
what was
right
best
thing to
for our
do.
family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. But it's interesting how that kind of comes out of the woodwork.
Oh,
Well, I think it's very true that we do, as we grow and we change, a lot of people now realize when you're growing, they're like, oh shit, they can see through my shit now.
Mhm.
You
mm,
know, when
That's
you
true.
get stronger, your attitude changes and you sit up a little taller and you have less resistance, and you don't take energy that's not in alignment with you. And a
Hmm.
lot of people, we are the people that we surround ourselves with. And a lot of people are like, wow,
Hmm.
how do I fit into this new person?
yeah.
You
Or
know,
do I?
or do I? And I think it's definitely one of those things that you're allowed to show up and be the best version of yourself every single day of your life.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Don't not work or change or step into your dreams because what other people think. Because then I
Hmm.
guarantee you're just living a shit life that's not authentic to who you want to be. And the people, when you surround yourself with like-minded people or support, doesn't mean we don't have to weigh the same, doesn't mean we have to dress the same, we don't have to like the same restaurants, but people who start to come into your life who fit the mold of what you want to be.
Yeah.
You
Hmm.
Absolutely.
start attracting those people into
Well,
your
and
world.
I think you realize too, like I know that, when I was living in Oregon, I was in the same town, born and raised. the friends that have been your friends for a long time. And like some of those people have continued, being my friend. But sometimes what happens is when you start to become better, those people, they don't like this new version of you.
They don't know how to deal with that version.
Yeah. Or you have this newfound confidence that you're like, why am I putting up with friends who flake out on me every time we have plans, or people that don't
I
do
haven't heard
what they
the
said?
term flake out in like 300 years. So that was
Oh my
a
gosh,
very
yeah.
good. Love that.
But and
But
you just go, I'm not allowing this. Like I was like
Yeah.
maybe allowing myself to be like this. And so I accepted this stuff. But then when you raise up, you go, I'm not accepting this anymore.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It doesn't fit.
Wait,
But this is the thing. It doesn't
doesn't.
mean that the people who were in your lives at that point in time, they were a good fit then. And it was
Yeah,
probably
absolutely.
good memories. It was great things that you experienced together, but then it is okay to move on. And I think sometimes people don't have that same belief. Like they're like, I have to
Well,
hold
we're
on.
not
I
supposed
see
to
it.
stay stuck. We're not supposed, we're
No.
supposed to grow. Like I have a lot of patients that tell me, they're like, oh, and then my kids left. And I'm like, they're not meant to live with you when they're 30. You raise them to
Mm,
grow them and push them out of the nest. That's what
Yeah.
people, that's people that need gratification from other people, their
Yep.
entire, and there's a lot. I mean, people pleasers. I'm a reformed people pleaser. And I
oh,
know that there's a lot of people that do that because they need that validation. But
mhm.
I'm telling you, when I finally see people step into the life that they are entitled to, it is their God-given right. And when you can say, I don't give a shit what they think. It's
Yeah.
standing in my way I'm gonna step over what you think, you're standing in my way.
Yeah.
This is it. This is your shot. This is your time. There is no perfect time. And I think this week has been like blah, 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 crazy. Like, you're not in a boot, but I've had like, I swear, I think you were in a boot, Carrie, for like 300 years. And I've had this sign inspection for 300 years. So, when you don't feel good, like everything's a little magnified, you're like a little like,
Yeah.
but
It's
I
like,
have had like,
seriously?
I know, right? I mean, you guys are you guys are cool. I'm like, just torch them all. Um, you know,
My
this has been my week. And is it okay for me to pivot conversations a little bit?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So I feel really compelled as I was like throwing on lip gloss, running late from a client. I'm like, I have to talk about this. I literally,
can't wait.
it's like,
Gosh.
but
can't
I
wait.
totally already
Yeah.
thought through the of this, but like, okay, this judging every single thing and lumping people into categories is making me insane. And because I shoot podcasts and we're on live, I'm going to tell you exactly what the issue is that has come up this week several times. And it is all centered around the Trump and well, Biden didn't run and the election.
Yeah.
First of all, is it your business?
Wait, what happened? Can you tell us a little bit about
Yeah,
this?
can you tell us?
It's been like a monster. Like I have this cousin and she's, I mean, just for everybody on the show probably knows me. I'm a Republican conservative. I'm here in Texas and literally like, just like you're a bad person and blah. And I'm like, you did what was best for your family. I'm doing like, how dare you personally attack me? Like, and it should be a private, and it goes for everything. I had a client just today, a little while ago, and she's like, "Where are you from?" I said, "Texas." She goes, "Oh," like she was gonna vomit in her mouth because I said I was from Texas. She's like,
What
"Oh,
is
I
that?
could never live there." Well, it's because she doesn't believe in. She said, I used to be I can't because but I mean, she's like, I used to do this, but now I can't because Trump won the election. I'm like, you're going to limit your life because somebody, like, yeah, we stuck out 4 years. I still thrived.
Yeah.
I'm like 12. What are you talking about?
Right. I still thrived. Like, I didn't blame my life
Well,
on who was
I
the
think
president.
like that is like that's why I love when people come out and they're like, you know what? Like nobody is freaking coming to save you. Like people that want to make
Nobody's
that kind
coming
of
to
stuff
save
an
you.
excuse.
Well, I think you're right. That's what they're waiting. They're like, oh
An
my God,
excuse.
this guy's going to throw us. You should be supporting your damn self. Facts.
Yeah.
So
Actually,
I had somebody tell me this, and I may butcher it, so you guys can fix whatever I say and whatever, right? But
Girl,
he said,
perfect just the way you are.
the Republican states, they allow the choices to make. that you make, right? And so like in the state of Florida, we have toll roads. You can choose to take the toll roads and get there faster and pay for them, or you can choose
That's the way
not
it
to.
is here in
It's
Texas.
your
Take the
choice.
access road if you don't want to take the toll road.
Yeah.
In Oregon, we all pay a tax for
Right.
all the roads. Where
Yeah.
where in a more liberal state or like Oregon, they take that and they make everyone pay it. And I think that's a little bit of the
And
difference.
then
Like,
they misuse it.
then they misuse it. Well, that's the truth. But for us, it's like we feel empowered. Like we have a belief. It
You have
doesn't
a
matter
choice.
who's in the administration. We can make our choices that are going to be best for our family. The
Right.
choices that are going to be best. We can choose to
Right.
go make more money if we want to go make money. We believe
Right.
that. We're not enabled based
Yeah.
on the election.
But
Well,
how
maybe
are we lumping an entire President
Well,
Trump, I
because,
know you're
like-
watching this fabulous show. Why are we lumping people together? First of all, is it your business?
Oh, like who you voted for or whatnot?
Right. Is it like you're gonna like I have to, I'm sorry, like I have to now tell you, should I tell you what's in my bank account and the last result of my
Like,
blood
are
test?
you
Like-
entitled to all
Right.
of my
And,
information?
and I'm sorry, why are you judging me? Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's almost like, and now it's almost like an attack.
Well, because I
I'm
think
going
what
to tell you, I'm
happened,
happy Trump won the election. I think it's great for this country. If you don't agree, in 4 years, you get to cast your vote.
well, and I think what happens is that people hear like one word like Republican, and then they go racist, bigot, anti-trans, homophobic, like they do all that. But it's
All
like,
this
if
stuff.
they knew you like as a human being, none of that's true,
Right.
and so I think that's what's really challenging. And
I felt very attacked to the point where I like blocked a family member. I'm like, you know what? I don't need this shit. I don't need it. And I know it's coming up a lot of places because I have another home in Pennsylvania where it's a very liberal state.
Mhm.
We're allowed to live and vote and wherever we want to.
Well, that's
Mhm.
what's so great about our country, right? And like,
Right?
and I
We
always
have
go back to
choices.
that. Like, even when I see protesters that are like protesting something that maybe I don't like agree with, like I don't agree with their
At least
message.
we have the right to do it.
I think, you know what? I love that we live in a country
Yep.
that they're able to do that. And that's what kills me is a lot of the things that people say. It's like, even, I mean, gosh, we're going real crazy. And I'm like, this is on my Facebook timeline. Woo! But like,
We'll see if it gets shut down.
yeah, well, people even like with the transgender thing. Here's me. You're an adult, a consenting adult. Do whatever you want with your life. I don't
100%.
personally care. I just don't want to be financially like tied to your
Right,
choice. Like, I don't want to
absolutely.
pay for your
Mhm.
choices. I pay for my choices.
Agreed.
Like, we're good.
Right.
But what's crazy is
Nobody
like,
paid for me to be married. Like, you know what I
but
mean?
what gets me is that if they lived in a different country that wasn't as free as we are, like some of these like socialist countries and stuff, it's like you'd be murdered
You'd be murdered.
because of the way
Right.
you are. You are free here to live your life the way that you choose. And
Right.
that's why I'm not before anything, before Democrat, Republican, whatever. I'm like a constitutionalist. I'm like, what is the
Same.
Constitution?
100%. 100%. But this is the
Yeah,
deal.
same.
This is what I think has happened to our society, and we're getting off track, right? But
Mhm.
this is my 100%. We
I'm
have
gonna tie it back after you're done.
There
here.
is no
Everybody
track.
wait.
an idea of how
There's
you're going to
no
try it.
track. I'm here to tell you that
But
there's no
listen.
track. This is a big dirt road. We can go anywhere we want to go.
So I think this society has not learned to have a decent conversation because it's all on social media, it's all on text messages. AI is writing stuff for people. They don't know how to
Right.
have a conversation with someone who doesn't agree with them.
So
They can't openly say, "Hey, we agree differently, and that's okay, but I want to hear your side of the story. I want to hear what you think. I want to hear your experiences. I have a cousin who does this, and it is phenomenal. Do we agree on everything? No. But you know
No.
the stuff I learn, and you know the stuff he learns? It's so refreshing to be
Yeah.
like, you know what? We can be friends and not agree. And
Yeah.
it's okay.
Well, you know what? It's so funny too, because people even make it like, I love what I'm going to tie it into personal development. Jim Dethmer teaches in the 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership.
Mhm.
And he works with a lot of top leaders and companies. And he did this exercise where he went in because he knew there was a lot of religious people in the audience. And he went in and he started cussing and he was like, fuck this, fuck that. And people literally were leaving. Not because of any of his content, but because he was using a word that they were so triggered by that they just couldn't even be in the room. And it was
Mhm.
like, we do that. We're like, on my planet, like that does not work.
Well, I think we were programmed now to immediately pick up a sword and start swinging it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like
It's
we are
reactive.
so
It's reactive.
hypersensitive to every, and if that's what you believe, great.
But what sucks is you're going to
But
close off a
don't-
lot of really cool people because you're being
Yes.
so closed off because
Closed-minded, yes. Actually,
Mhm.
on this week, on part of that feed, somebody said, "Oh, I'm happy you're not my coach." I'm like, well, I don't work with the small-minded, so we wouldn't be a good fit.
yeah.
But like, why do you feel the need to take a personal shot at somebody? And by the way, and this is politics, life, whatever it is. I mean,
Doesn't matter
there
what
are
it
the
is.
rules.
Yeah.
The people have spoken, and that's just what it is. I mean,
Well,
all
it's
of
like
our lives.
the majority of the country, I mean, we don't elect somebody by minority. Like
No.
he's in there because people voted for him. Like
Right.
most people that was their decision.
That was their decision.
That was
Right.
their choice.
Exactly.
And I can guarantee you that after Biden won that last election, I wasn't throwing a fit. I'm just like,
freaking went to
okay.
work. I
It's
showed
I mean,
up
I
for
threw a
it,
little fit, like a 24-hour fit. I threw, no doubt. I threw a 24-hour fit.
what I mean. It's
Because I was like,
like,
oh my God. But guess what? I still survived the last 4 years. I still
It
opened a
got more
business. I
expensive,
still
yeah.
thrived. I still read because my choices are up to me, not the government.
And can
And
I
we
say
paid
something?
$10 for eggs and we lived.
Can I say
Exactly.
something about
What's
that real
the
quick?
damn eggs? I'm like, I'm anti-chicken right now because eggs are so expensive.
But here's what I think, because I follow a lot of people's social media stuff, and I think, listen, if your life is in such a place financially where like gas raising up even $1 a gallon, so say that's $35 on a tank, $35, and now your latte is more expensive or bread's expensive, there's bigger problems because we
Issues.
work with a lot of business owners. There is bigger things at stake here than like complaining about
Right.
the
Yes.
price of milk.
Yes. It's
Right.
so true. Like half the time I don't even notice. Like the only reason I knew the egg thing is I think my mom told me. I'm like, there's an egg issue? I don't even know.
Families,
This is me being privileged,
I
but
think,
I'm also like,
for
I'll just go make more money.
right.
Yeah,
Well, I
yeah.
mean, like I feel sorry for families
Yeah. No,
that
it's
are
hard.
feeding children and why? What is we never got an explanation of why it was so inflated. After COVID, it was shipping and everything, but it was 5 years ago. People get over it.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, like Ryan and I have talked about, is once the price is up and people are paying it, they're not bringing it back
They're
down.
not
They're
bringing
not
down. It's
going down. Yeah, they're
Just
not.
make
But I mean,
more
it's
money.
unaffordable for
Basic
people to
economics.
thrive, right? I
Yeah.
mean, we can't live in a country where it's we're just wiping out an entire class of people because they can't afford things. Like we have to stabilize and be able to protect each other. But I just think the whole week, like every single thing, I'm like, oh my God,
You just
what?
gotta hit hard being lumped in.
I'm getting
Generalized.
I'm generalized, and it's just such a crazy thing to me. I'm like, you need a little more help than what I can give you if you're sitting home conspiring against half of a nation.
Well, and what's
Yeah,
hard
but the thing is like with social media is people feel really comfortable saying whatever they want. Like
and they're
Right.
in an echo chamber. Like they're
They
in
are.
and like same with me. I like surround myself with a lot of people who think like I do,
Mhm.
right? Like with the majority of my life, but that doesn't mean that I'm so closed off to people that are different than me. Like Carrie, you said,
Mhm.
that's like we learn so much. And I will tell you, I'll be totally honest. And like this was my like a thing came up for me is I was on a Zoom a couple weeks ago and there was a guest speaker and he put on his pronouns on there. And I was like, oh fuck, are you kidding me? Like we can
Here
all
we
talk
go. Right.
like Jesus. So that was my instant like put him in a box thing, right?
Right. Absolutely. Right.
But then
And that's our thing, and we start to judge. But I'm like, if you want to
Totally.
identify as a cat, who am I to tell you can't?
But then I went, okay, hold on. Just who cares? Like, who cares? Like, I walked myself through this journey in my brain quickly, and it was phenomenal. And he was so good. And I ended up buying a couple of his books, and I was like, this guy is freaking killer. But if I would have been such a wall up because of
So closed off.
being-
Right.
yeah, I would have
Give
missed
people a
out on the whole
chance.
lesson.
But
Yeah.
now I think because if you voted for Trump, you hate gays. I'm like, what? Nothing could be further from
Mm-mm.
that.
You know, it was
hate
interesting
fashion, for
because
goodness sakes.
And I love it. They're like, I will never stop fighting for the. I'm like, that's great, but does that give you good for you? I believe if we believe in a cause, we fight for it. Sure, I do. but no one just said it's not, you know what I mean? Like no one ever said it
No.
wasn't allowed. You
Yeah.
know, I think that that's the whole thing is that when people, I think their whole thing is they rode on Trump as a human, that he was a shitty human,
Mm.
right? He might be a shitty
That
human.
ship
I don't.
sailed with Bill Clinton, let's be
Right,
honest.
exactly, exactly. But you know what? It's not really, I don't vote for him because it doesn't matter to me if he's a shitty human. Is my daughter safe? Is my money protected? You know, like are the borders secure? Is our military being supported? Like to me, that was important to me. I'm not having dinner with him. I mean, I would if you're, I know he's probably watching, but
Yeah,
President
you know,
Trump, I would love to have dinner with him. I would love to have dinner with him. Right.
Wait for your phone call, Deb. It's
Right.
coming.
it's
Hold on, you
coming.
guys, it's the president.
Get him on the podcast.
Book him.
Look
Book
at
him.
him. Ask him
Oh
if
my
he'll come to Nashville. Can you come to Nashville in two-step and get on my podcast?
Oh my gosh, it's
I'll
hilarious.
get you. What do you have? You have a press pass. I'll get you a press pass.
I'll get you a press pass, right? That now, when people find out you have a press pass, it's like I need a press pass. I'm like, I don't even. This is all new to me too, but yes, I get it.
Oh my goodness.
And I just think, and you guys have known my week too, it's actually been a discovery week of seeing things, you know, like some personalities have been uncovered, and you know, it's kind of been disappointing when people aren't authentic, and
Mhm.
you know, it made me really grateful for everybody that's in my life that has been truthful and honest and authentic with me. And we need to count our blessings, you know, because we take, you know, you're really when you see things in a different way, you're really grateful for the people who you know will show up the same all the time.
Yeah,
I think it's
absolutely.
so true. And I was thinking about a story earlier when we were talking about this, like letting go of those things that are time to leave in the past.
Right.
And
As my dear friend Ryan, my BFF Ryan would say, it's time to separate yourself emotionally from that.
yeah. So we moved our oldest out here when he was 12, right? And he had a really hard time connecting with, like, he's a competitive soccer player and he had his team back in Oregon and they were really close, and he had a really hard time even integrating with this new team because he felt like if he integrated and got to be friends and knew this new team, that meant he wasn't loyal to
Oh,
his old team. It's like
oh,
he couldn't do both in his
right.
mind.
He
And it was
should
the
have
same
called
with youth
Ryan.
group. It was all of it. And when I finally said, I go, you don't have they don't have a competitive team in Oregon anymore in that league. He was fine and he went and he thrived where he's at. But it was that to me is like illustrates what we're talking about here today too,
Mhm.
with letting things go that aren't in alignment with us anymore.
Right.
It's
It's
like
so
sometimes
true.
it's so hard. Sometimes we just
And
hold on so tight.
kudos to you
I
guys
let
for
go.
preaching loyalty. Kudos to you that he felt loyal
Yeah.
to that. Like kudos to the two of you. But you know what? I think as we're teaching loyalty, we're not teaching the fact that some people just don't deserve it.
Well, and sometimes it's like that term with that person is up.
It's
It's like
over. Right.
the
Yes.
time is up. And I think
Your
that
4 years are over.
That's it. Exactly. We're getting another election, people. You got to just wait 4 more years. You know, the funny things is, and that's, you know, I say this all the time. I'm like, tis better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all.
mhm.
That's what it is. You
Well,
know,
and
not everybody's your cup of tea.
everything that I've ever had to like walk away from in my life, and not always because it was a negative experience, but maybe just because that had like it had served a time. At one point, it was really good. So it's
Yeah.
like, and then
Mhm.
it was time for it to be over.
But
You
is
know?
that the like extension cord that brings you back? But it was good. It was good. Plug back in, plug back in, plug back in. Like when you
I
teach a
think
course to people, when it's done, it's done.
yeah, I think that, like, because when I'm done with something, I have this like period of anger.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's
Mhm.
the wheel of emotions, right?
totally. And then I think when it has some time, because really time does take care of a lot of things. It at least
It
helps the
does.
dust settle. And then you can look back and go, you know what? And like with gratitude, like that's how I think of it, as I look back
Mhm.
with gratitude for like the purpose it served in my life, or like
Yes.
what
Mhm.
that person was. And then it was like, and then it was time to be done. And most of the times I realized that when I had to leave those things behind, I taught the next trajectory to like my next
Right.
goal.
Well, who just
And
told me that today? They're like, Deb, you had to go through that. I don't know which one of my fabulous friends of you guys it was, but you're like, you needed to get through that to get to this level. You'd never
yeah,
be at this
Mhm.
level if that didn't happen.
yeah,
And it
It's
absolutely.
used to
sometimes
feel like that, but I mean, now it feels like, yeah, I'm getting my tour bus.
Yeah.
I think we had a mentor, Brittany, you know who I'm talking about, that told us like sometimes we hold on to things too tight and
Yeah.
you have to hold on to them loosely because it might be time to let them go so you
Yes.
can move
That's
forward.
beautiful.
And
It's beautiful.
I remember that advice a lot because it's so true for a lot of things. Like, why are we holding on so tight? Is it because we hope that it'll be what it used to be? But it's not that anymore. Because
It's
the
usually
only
fear.
constant in life is
The reason
change.
is change, right? That's a great song. You know, the Hold On Loosely. Sorry, I'm like singing in the house, but yeah, there's a great song. I'll send it to you guys. It's called Hold On Loosely. Um,
We're both like blank stare.
you're like, I know. Brittany doesn't even know who, like, I swear to God, I told her, I don't know, like Oprah or somebody I said, and she's like, who's that? I'm like, oh,
You
that's
said, didn't you say Barbara Walters? Isn't that who
Barbara
you
Oh, I know
said?
who
Walters
Barbara
or something.
Walters is. I used to watch
No.
2020
Right.
with
She
my
does, I don't know
parents.
who that is. It doesn't matter. Continue the rant. I'll just Google it, which is a good friend, right? She's like, hold on, let me
Like, just a
she
minute
compare
here.
herself to that
Just a minute.
shithead.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. So,
Right.
okay, as we're wrapping up. Ooh, it's 3:33. You guys know I love like, do you know that? I know, Deb, you might not know that about me. I love like repeating numbers. I'm like, ooh, what's that mean?
Yeah, three,
Mhm.
three,
Kind of,
three, one, one,
I'm a kind
one.
of a kook with that
Yeah.
stuff. But
Sorry.
okay,
You're
in
good too.
2024, as we're like in 2025, right? We're about to enter February. What is something that you've let go of in your past that like totally took you to the next level? And you don't have to like name names or anything, or but maybe a situation or something. Who wants to go first?
Me.
Go. Go.
Okay. So I've let go of making sure everybody is okay and sacrificing myself.
Oh, so like a
Mhm.
behavior is really like you
But
let go.
it's really I had like a business is a business transaction. It's not my husband, it's not my dear friend, whatever, it's a business. And I had such a back to Carrie loyalty to people that I'm
Mhm.
Mhm.
like, oh, it's okay. And it's not
Mhm.
okay. It was rattling me, it was costing me money, it was not productive, it was stopping me from growing.
Yeah.
And I learned that it it's okay to take care of me first. I should
Mhm.
be the first person. But I was so worried about bruising other people, who, by the way, were already broken. So one little bruise was not going to hurt them. But like, it was, like I learned that like it's not personal. It's not personal.
Mhm.
I'm going to get what your husband said to me tattooed on my body somewhere. But it's true.
We
It's
need a
not
big
personal.
sign for your office. A
We
quote by
do.
Ryan Hall.
Right, exactly. I'm
Mhm.
like, I go,
It's so
it's like
true.
vividly in my head, Deb, I'm going to need you to separate your emotions from, and he was right. He
Yeah.
was right because
Ryan is
I,
so good about those kind of
yeah,
things.
he's so good. He's so good. And
He
I
was
like,
giving me a
It's his
talking to earlier.
I had this life built around it, right? And I couldn't picture it in a different life.
Well, and I
Yeah.
think too, sometimes like because loyalty is such a high value for you, Deb, that you're like, but does that mean that I'm
Yes.
not being loyal? And it doesn't, but it means that you're being loyal to
Mm-mm.
yourself first and saying, I'm not
Yes.
allowing this anymore
Right.
because it's not actually healthy and they're not holding up their end of the bargain.
No. And
They're
that's
not being loyal to
exactly
me.
how it felt. It
Yeah.
felt like I was breaking off with family
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's hard.
until you speak
Mm-hmm.
the truth, and then they're not family. They're coming right the fuck
Mm-mm.
after you. So it's not, but it's not like, and I've learned, and not only with that situation, but just in life that like, that's it. This is my business and I have to run it as such. And if somebody gets their feelers hurt, they're going to have to get over it
Yeah,
Yeah.
or
absolutely.
go work with their therapist or coach to get over it.
Yeah, 100%. That's
You
right.
know?
When we were getting ready to make a big transition in our life, somebody gave me the best advice. And this was a person who came into my life for a very short period of time. And I think it was to give us this advice. It was like, you have to do what's best for your family of four. The best for your family, and period. No one else matters. And I feel like that's kind of what you went through is like, I have to do the best for my business, for me right now. And no one else,
Because
I
my
don't want to say
business
no one
does
else,
affect
no
my
one
family.
else matters, but you have to
Right.
think about like, you have to take care of you. And I think a
Yes.
lot of times when we're super loyal, we worry too much about the other person who I can guarantee you, if you're in a situation like that, they're taking care of them. Like
Right.
they could probably give a rat's ass about you.
Right. Well, they do. I mean, it was very clear. And then I was told
Hmm.
that. I was like, wait a minute, we're
Hmm.
a lot of money in and no, but I think, and what I've also learned too is like when people show you who they really are, you need to believe it. Stop more. I'm going to stop morphing people into what I want them to be.
Yeah. Well,
Hmm.
and I'm going to add to that because this was my week was frustrating with people saying one thing and doing another. So like
Right.
you said, when they show you, not when they tell you, when they show you who they are, believe it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Believe
Believe
There's a
it.
them.
big difference
Hmm.
because people will be like, I'm honest, I'm loyal, I'm this. It's like, and then you see their actions and you're like, what? Like these
It's
people
like
are,
a dating website. They put a picture up of 20 years ago.
yeah,
You're like, this doesn't align.
yeah. Okay, Carrie,
Right.
Did we?
what's something that you
Um, I was hoping to go first, but I can go first. I think one of the biggest things that I've let go, and this has been quite a journey for me, is other people's thoughts, judgments, and opinions.
yeah,
Like
Right.
I would be really worried about that. And it's really interesting because I don't ever want to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm like, oh, I'm doing this. I might hurt somebody's feelings. And I'm finally like, who fucking cares? Like
yeah,
I need to do what's
Yeah.
best for me and my
Do.
family and move forward. Like I don't even care. And it doesn't mean Jason told me this morning because we had a little situation at our house in our yard. Uh, I'll tell you this later, Dan.
Homeownership. Homeownership is
But
fun.
a pole just arrived, like a 12-foot pole was just in the middle of our yard yesterday. And we're like,
Oh.
this is weird.
Are you
Um,
filling it for this summer? Because Brittany and I are coming for margaritas.
oh, a pole, not a
Oh,
pool.
pole.
Pole, pole.
Well, let me tell you something. In Philadelphia, they grease those suckers because people climb up them and then get hurt. So yeah, what do
And
you need?
like, what is happening? I don't know. It's apparently a stop sign pole, but it's in the wrong place. Like, no one's gonna see it because
People
my house is
stopping
in
in your
front of it.
backyard. That's crazy.
Apparently. But we were talking about this and like they called us to talk about it and I just handed the phone over to Jason because I'm like, I'm not doing this. And he's so good. He's like, you can be really firm in what needs to happen, but also be very kind. And I feel like that's something that I'm really working on and learning in 2025. Like I can be okay and firm in my decisions
Mhm.
and still be really kind about it because
Yeah.
not that
Beautiful.
I'm mean. You guys know me.
Oh
I'm
my
not.
God. I've heard you
But
curse one time. I'm like, holy shit, what is going on? She just cursed. And you look so beautiful in
Brittany,
that jacket, by the way. You look
this is the
stunning
one I
today.
was telling you
Love
about.
it. You look
I just thought.
fantastic today. You look
You.
fabulous. So,
Thank
you're
you.
right.
Thank you.
And that's, yeah. But you're right. You're 100% right. You can't fix
And
everybody.
you
No.
can't fix everybody. So
And you
that's my thing and letting go of some stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
and you
Go
can't
for
live
it.
your life
But
for other people, which I feel
Mhm.
like I've been on
mhm,
that journey for a long time, but and just kind of always rewiring my brain because that stuff is not fixed easily. But
Mhm.
so I would say as we kind of wrap this and put a pretty bow on it, that it's funny, it came to me today. I was on a call about like a coaching thing. I did a podcast with a company and then I was talking to the owner about some stuff and it was a sales call basically. And usually
You're the
I
best podcast host ever. I bet you were
will,
phenomenal on podcasts.
but
You kick ass on podcasts.
I realize that I want to tell people yes all the time. And it's funny because only in certain areas of my life, but when it comes to buying things, I'm usually like, yes, yes. And Carrie, like I've spent a lot of money on
mhm.
coaching and things and just dove in. And I was so honest. I said, I believe that there is a value in what you're selling and that it's worth that. But I'm really working on taking time to make financial decisions. And I said, and
That's
I'm going to
beautiful.
honor that. And I was
That's
like,
beautiful.
who just said that?
You're like, light
I was like,
bulb.
I have to honor myself
Yes.
Yeah.
and I had to be okay with that wasn't the result that she wanted and I was causing it. Like that's a journey that I'm
Mm,
on, really trying to
hmm.
go, that's not for me. And
Yes.
it's okay if you're not okay with it. But
It's
it's
not your
okay
job to
for
fix
me.
that. It's not your job.
Totally.
Hmm.
But that's really hard. And I sometimes laugh because I'm like, do men ever struggle with this shit? I mean, I'm sure they
Yeah.
do. I don't think they're wired the same that we are, that like we're like for our kids and our husband and friends and
Right.
community, and we got to volunteer and we got to do this, and we got to do that. It's like we're so much to everybody that it's like counterintuitive almost as a woman to go, that's not like for me. And I'm sorry
Hmm.
if that makes you upset, but I'm sticking with my decision. And
Yeah.
like,
And
that's where I'm doing a lot of work.
I think that
Oh, I
men
love that.
do that. And I think the reason why, like, as a society, that we think women are weak is because we do think like men are just like, it's a hell, it's a hard no.
Yeah. And it's not the
I'm
start of
telling you,
the
I don't.
discussion. It's like, that's it.
That's it. I don't think Jason has problems with it because that boy tells me no all the time. And I'm like, what?
Right,
Oh
right.
yeah.
You don't have to tell me no.
Ryan likes,
Right.
no.
Rephrase it.
Yeah.
I always say to Rusty, I'm like, I'm going to rephrase that, expecting the answer that I'm anticipating. And he knows I will beat him down verbally and walk around the house singing row, row, row your boat. So he's like, you can have whatever you want. I can't deal with you
Oh
anymore.
my gosh. Well, so good. As we're like
Oh, good.
gonna wrap this up, like I said that a few times, but like I want to encourage anybody that has watched this, like we share our story so that hopefully you can relate and find like power in it to
Yes.
get rid of the stuff that's not working for you. Like
Yeah.
it's okay. And
Yes.
it might literally be a habit that you have, like that's not serving you.
It's
Like-
not serving you. It's just
Like, let
not.
it
And I agree. And you know, if anybody that has been watching us for the last couple of weeks feels that they want to come on and tell us their story, we would love to hear it.
Yes, DM me.
We would love to hear it, because I mean, we need to pick each other up, not keep pushing each other down.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I
We
think
need to
too,
pick
it's
each
such
other.
a like Deb, you're such a good celebrator of people.
Yeah, you really are.
You know, really like your whole podcast is centered around that. You guys, Happy Hour with Deb is a phenomenal podcast. Deb's hilarious. She has the best people on. So
Oh,
definitely subscribe to her.
Yes, please check it out.
Mhm.
Please check it out. It's a great. We've
She's
had
amazing.
every time I watch one that releases on Thursday, and I kind of just watch the intro on Thursday night over again, and I'm like, wow, those people were great. Like,
Yeah.
it makes my heart happy that they have a spot to feel celebrated.
Yes. But I
Really
think
good.
And you do such a great job with it.
Thank you so much. Well, I've had some of the best help and some of the best guests, so
yeah, you've had some
I've been pretty lucky. I've had these two beautiful women on my show, and because we're lifting each other up and we're
Well,
celebrating each other, and it's okay to wobble. You know, it's okay. You'll get your footage. It's okay.
And when you lift somebody up, it doesn't mean that you sink down.
No,
You know, like just because one bulb is burning bright and you put another bulb in, what happens? The room gets even brighter.
It's
It doesn't
brighter.
dim one. And I think that that's
Right.
probably one of the biggest things too. I mean, I could do a whole freaking show on that.
yeah.
Oh boy. That's
And
it.
stop,
That's
you know,
yeah.
don't be hard on other
That's
people, and
next
don't be
week.
hard on yourself. Like, stop. I've heard a lot of that this week too, people being really hard on yourselves. I think I've said, give yourself some grace about 6,000 times, because
Yeah.
They were all to me.
if we get bent, sometimes we break, and that's just what it is. We have emotions, we're human, and it is okay to sometimes have a bad day. It's okay.
Absolutely. All right. So if you want to
Awesome.
be like on here with us, you want to like talk about
We
some
love it.
life stuff, some unplugged stuff, DM me. We will be back next Friday at 3
We
o'clock.
will. Crit, your office looks fabulous.
Thank
Bye,
you. I'm
friends.
so glad that
Bye,
my Wi-Fi
guys.
works in here. All right.
I
Bye. guys.
know. Bye, guys.